Good day, ma'am. My name is Evelyn A. Salentes. I am a second year BS Criminology. So, I will be talking about the utilitarian ethics today. So, first is what is utilitarian ethics? So, utilitarian ethics is a theory of moral philosophy that is based on the principle that an action is morally right if it produces a greater quantity of good or happiness than any other possible action. Also, it requires us to look at the consequences to determine the morality of an action to claim that the morality of the action depends on the amount of goodness that the action produces. In the case of both Jeremy Bethman and John Stuart Mill, the good is equal to pressure. So, two philosophers agreed we should seek happiness and avoid pain. According to Jeremy Bentham's utilitarianism was based on the outcomes of actions. He said the correct action in any situation is the one that leads to the most happiness or the least pain. The more happiness caused, the better the moral act. Also, John Stuart Mill agreed with Bentham, but went one step further when he argued that utilitarianism doesn't just take into account the quantity of happiness, but also the quality of the happiness. Mill said there are higher and lower pleasures. The higher pleasure are those which people prefer over lower pleasures. For example, to have a good education would often be preferred over the lower pleasure of the lying around all day doing nothing. There are two main types of utilitarianism. So the first one is the rule utilitarianism. So many rules are made to ensure the greatest good for the greatest number. Therefore, following these rules is the right moral choice. For example, everyone obeys the road traffic rules, like stopping at red lights, which makes the roads safer for everyone. So the second one is the act utilitarianism. So this is based on the consequences of actions. If an action will lead to the greatest happiness for the greatest number of people, then it is correct moral action according to utilitarianism. For example, if 20 people were held hostage by 4 criminals, it would be correct for the police to kill the 4 criminals to save the 20 people. In other words, the greatest happiness for the greatest number of people. So, what is the importance of utilitarian ethics? So the importance of utilitarian ethics is the implication for how we should think about living an ethical life. According to utilitarianism, we should carefully choose which problems to work on and by what means, based on how we can most improve the lives of everyone counted equally. So the principles of utilitarian ethics. So the principles in utilitarianism is that when you make a moral decision, you should do what brings the greatest happiness or good to the greatest number of people. Utilitarianism is also an ethical theory that determines right from wrong by focusing on outcomes. So, thoughts and opinions about utilitarian ethics. So, utilitarian ethics can become the basis of morality in a collectivist society where people care about each other and are um, willing to give up on some excess utility to create a massive utility for those who have none. So utilitarianism says that we should always do what will have the best consequences for all those affected by our actions. Best consequences generally refers to the well-being in some sense, although utilitarians differ on whether this means happiness and the the reduction of suffering or something like the satisfaction of preferences. So utilitarianism is also create the best framework we've seen for quantifying the best possible outcome for how human beings interact so far because it was based on outcomes instead of arbitrary rules. People may argue a bit on the best possible implementation of it, but it is and was a revolution in the advancement of morality. For that, whether you subscribe to the theory or not, we should all be cognizant of how important it was and will be to the field of morality. So that's all. Thank you, ma'am. So once again, my name is Evelyn A. Salentes. I am a second year BS Criminology. Thank you.